Hello and welcome to the Diplomat Couch, an exciting program, empowering and informative program which spotlights the relations between Zimbabwe and other countries. Now, we don't just look at the relations per se, but we also look at activities being done by the embassies and the United Nations missions in Zimbabwe. These are activities that have something to do with the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals as espoused by the United Nations in 2016. You may be aware of something called Agenda 2030. Now, my name is Love Changira, and on the program today, I'm joined by the Italian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Umberto Malnati. Your Excellency, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Great pleasure for me. First of all, I thank you very much for this idea and this initiative. It's a great opportunity for me to meet you and your people that usually follow your program. Besides, I heard now that you were talking about Agenda 2030. I've been following Agenda 2030 exactly before coming here. I was in charge of that dossier in Rome for accompanying this for Italy.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So, Your Excellency, briefly tell the viewers about your career. I know that you've been to 3 African countries already, and Zimbabwe is your 4th. Briefly about that.
This is my 4th African country. I started, in fact, more than 30 years ago in Ghana. It was my first place, and the time where there was still the Provisional National Defense Council at the government with the president Jerry John Rawlings, an historic protagonist of Ghanaian and African history as well.
Sure.
And then I spent almost 4 years in Mozambique, very close, as you know,
to us, yeah.
From 2000 to 2004.
Okay.
And from 2011 to 2014, I was ambassador to Gabon.
So
and
from
in
a
the
Portuguese speaking to a French speaking country.
Exactly. And in the meantime, I was from 2004 to 2008. I was in charge of Southern Africa desk in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I accompanied also all the situations in Zimbabwe, and particularly because at the time there was a moment of evolution of your internal policy, and so exactly, and it was accompanied very closely by the European Union. So I was accompanying also that period, certainly.
You were then posted to Zimbabwe in August 2022, just a few months ago. What was your impression of Zimbabwe, as you landed, or let's say August, September, October, November, 3 months kind of? What's your impression of Zimbabwe? Vis-a-vis maybe what you were hearing when you were out there, what you were reading, when you were out there?
No, it's exactly what I expected. Friendly people, friendly administration, friendly government. I had the opportunity to present my letter of credential to His Excellency, the President Mnangagwa, immediately, just 1 week after my arrival. That is a record.
That was a record time.
Yes, a record time, and so it was with great satisfaction. I think it was also a proof of a strong interest by the Zimbabwean government to have strengthen further the relations with Italy.
Now, you've already started talking about relations, so let's delve into it a little bit further. How are the relations between our 2 countries?
Very good, in the sense that we we have a good presence here economically, in the sense that we have some enterprises here that are working in Zimbabwe with direct investments in the mining sector and in the building, construction of dams and so on. I'm speaking of We Built mainly, and Red Granites, and Banyara as well. That is important because, I mean, to have direct investments in a country means to have a very strong common interests. And besides, we have a political relation that now is stronger because the European Union lifted the country, the sanctions against Zimbabwe. And that is also because of our action in that specific field. We always thought that sanctions were not a good idea, in fact, and so this thing I believe that have been overcome, and we are so we were able to move in a way to open the doors. And once they are open, I think that we have all the tools to make relations always stronger and in any field. I think that we are on the good path to make of our relations and our collaborations something that can develop in a better interest for Zimbabwean people and Italian people. Of course, it is important that also in Zimbabwe things continue in a peaceful and far-reaching way.
Environment. Thank you, Your Excellency. On that note, we have to take a short break. And viewers, we're taking a short break. Don't go away. When we return, we want to talk more about the economic cooperation between Zimbabwe and the EU. Welcome back. I'm speaking to the Italian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Umberto Malnati. Now, when we went for the short break, he was just explaining some of the areas of cooperation between our two countries. And on that note, Your Excellency, I'm glad to confirm that we know that an Italian company was responsible for the construction of the biggest inland dam in Zimbabwe, that is known as Tokwe Mukosi in Masvingo province. So, and we're feeling the effects of the relationship. Now, let's move further. You spoke about Italian companies having a presence in Zimbabwe. You spoke about the mining sector and, of course, the construction sector, which I just confirmed. Is there trade between our two countries? Imports, exports, would you want to talk about that briefly?
Well, sure, we have an import-export because you see that we have goods exported to Italy, mainly in the agriculture and the mining sector.
Agriculture and mining
of course,
sectors.
so raw materials, of course, as your path is this. And while you import from us machinery, mainly technological machinery, the numbers are not quite big at the moment, as you know. But I mean, we are working to improve it, to increase the number. I know that for the mining sector, our direct investments here as far as I know, I talked to the enterprises, to the companies. Mostly they export 70% of the production, and sell locally 30%,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay.
But of course, it's necessary on that to improve the numbers,
The numbers.
For the trade,
For the
the
benefit
relations,
of the two
exactly,
peoples. Yeah.
exactly. And on that, of course, as you know, it's very important, the overall world economic situation, because I mean, the moment is rather complicated, it's rather difficult, as you know, all over the world. But as soon as, because of the pandemic, there was the pandemic, and now there's the war in Ukraine. So all those things do not help
Sure.
trade relations all over the world. But all the data needed to start and to improve this trade relations between our two countries are there. So I think we are the tools to work and have success.
We have the tools, especially after the lifting of the sanctions. Now, let's look at tourism. Do we have a lot of Italians visiting Zimbabwe?
Look, Zimbabwe has always been considered one of the most attractive countries in Africa and all over the world because of you know, the game reserves, because the Victoria Falls, and so on. So certainly there's a touristic presence Italian touristic presence here, and also there are Italian travel agencies working with Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwean travel agencies.
Exactly, Zimbabwean travel agencies and Italian travel agencies with the relations with Zimbabwe, and to make, you know, packages for tourists to come and to visit your beautiful country, certainly. And I really hope to have the opportunity in this time that I'll be serving here to visit Victoria Falls, the game reserves, and so on and so forth. That is a very important, and is a jewel for your country in the world.
It's a jewel. Wonderful. It's good to know that. Now, Your Excellency, what can be done to also increase the numbers, even as we work on increasing the trade numbers? Is there something that we could do from the Zimbabwean perspective to also attract more tourists from Italy?
I'm not the one who can give advices on this to your government. What I can say, it is all over the world, infrastructures are important to attract tourism.
Sure.
So probably here, I believe some infrastructure should be more developed, mainly communications and so on. Also to achieve better prices, because usually when in places where you have some not very smooth infrastructures, so as to be used quickly and with no particular hindrances, you are also able to get better prices, and so to attract more people. Sure. The impression in many countries like Zimbabwe, that great jewels to present touristically all over the world, is that sometimes they are for elite.
Okay.
You see, because they are very costly.
They cost more money.
Exactly, and so that is maybe an improvement. To make it something more open to the common people. You see, people exactly.
Okay. Earlier on, you said the lifting of sanctions by the EU has given us the tools to strengthen relations between our two countries. Now, I wanted to find out what sort of opportunities do you see in Zimbabwe, or maybe I'm looking here at an entity in Italy or even in the greater EU that is looking at investing in Zimbabwe. What would you say to those entities?
Well, Zimbabwe, as I just told you, is attractive from many point of view. Traditionally, you know, mining sector, infrastructural sector, and agriculture. So maybe as the mining sector is very well known all over the world, as you know, you have gold, you have platinum, you have diamonds, you have lithium. It's very important nowadays. You know very much, very well the great importance of lithium for green economy.
Sure.
And you have plenty of these things, and this is very well known all over the world. Maybe the thing particularly for Italy, I would stress it's the importance to focus on agriculture here. As our two economies on that can be complementary. As you have great land, very productive land, and so on, and you were the breadbasket of Africa, and you are going to be again breadbasket of Africa.
I like the positivity.
And Italy have technological tools on that
can complement.
That can complement very concretely and very usefully this path.
Your Excellency, we have to take another short break. Sure. Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome to the third and final segment of the Diplomat Couch. Really exciting insights that we're getting from His Excellency, the Italian Ambassador to Zimbabwe, H.E. Umberto Malnati. Now, Your Excellency, let's talk briefly about the assistance that you have given to Zimbabwe during times of need.
Yes, we have in the past, as you know, there was some typhoon, flooding,
Cyclone Idai.
Cyclone Idai, flooding the area between Mozambique and Zimbabwe, and we had the opportunity to help with the direct donations and through also the Red Cross, and as well as the cholera epidemic in 2019, if I remember correctly, and we intervened as well to help. And we are always ready to intervene in emergency cases, we have always done mainly in Africa, as you know, Africa for us is the main spot for developing cooperation.
So, Your Excellency, I know that your country is bidding to host World Expo 2030. Please talk to us about this.
Yeah, thank you very much for this question that gives me the opportunity to present the candidature of Rome to host in 2030 the Expo. We have presented our candidature, and we really hope that to have the support of all countries, particularly to have the support of Zimbabwe. And I want just to read quickly the focus of this of our project of Rome candidature. That is, Rome has opted for an immediately proposal, not trying to grab attention by referring just to its past, because you know Rome is the eternal city.
Sure.
It has instead chosen a program slogan that focuses primarily to the present and to the future. The slogan is, take note, people and territories. urban regeneration, inclusion, and innovation.
Wonderful.
You see, it's a team that calls very much to inclusion.
Sure.
For all the people to join and make a very unique experience in our eternal city, which is in fact a symbol of a culture, and that was the city that organized the antique world. As you know, even in African schools, particularly in Zimbabwe, the ancient history starts with the Roman Empire. So
we know the gymnasiums and all these sporting activities emanated from there.
Besides, it hosts the Vatican and the Catholic Church.
Sure.
And you know that there's also in Zimbabwe a very good percentage of people.
Sure. It's a huge population of people here
of Catholic religion.
that believe in that. Yes, true.
With a beautiful cathedral here as well.
Yeah, sure. Amazing statistics there. So, yeah, you touched on the Vatican. I'm sure I'll probably throw in a question there. So, does the Vatican have its own army that protects it, or it's protected, its territorial integrity is maintained and protected by Italy?
You see, Vatican is a sovereign country.
Sure.
And they have their own militia, but is a militia, the Swiss Guard, you know. And but of course, the territory is enclave in Rome, and our relations are ruled by proper agreements between Italy and the Vatican. And what it is very important is that is the heart of the Catholic world.
Excellent.
Which is some billion of people.
Thank you for that amazing statistics, Your Excellency. And it was wonderful having you on the program. We've come to the end, unfortunately. So it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you in future episodes, Your Excellency.
I thank you for this opportunity again.
Thank you, Your
and
Excellency.
all the best for your future
Thank you so
activity.
much. We really appreciate it. Viewers, it was really a pleasure having you on board, as always. And we were getting insights there from the Italian ambassador on the relations between Zimbabwe and Italy. And he also spoke about the cooperation between our two countries. So, yeah, thank you so much. We look forward to having you again. Make a date with us, same time next week.